Now at 9, Wildcat Glades holds an adult insect collection and display program. Plus, the Miami Elk Lodge hosts a Jerky Turkey Olympics fundraiser for the Miami Animal Alliance. And the community of Galena celebrates Galena Days. We take you to some of the events.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Tanya Bach. A homeless man is now charged with felony kidnapping after allegedly grabbing a child at Joplin's Third Thursday event last month. Police say a 5-year-old girl was by a bounce house near 3rd and Main when 28-year-old Johnny Earhart grabbed her. The girl's mother and bystanders confronted Earhart and prevented him from getting away. He was then arrested. The child was unharmed. Earhart also faces charges in McDonald County of felony vehicle tampering from an incident in January. Meteorologist Chloe Herrero joins us for a first look at your forecast.
Yeah, well, this afternoon we had a pretty active afternoon in terms of showers and storms, and that has since completely dissipated. We have a clear radar as of right now, aside from a couple little isolated spots here and there. We've also cooled down quite a bit because of these showers and storms, especially in southeastern Kansas. They dipped down into the 60s around 7 or 8 o'clock with all of that heavy rainfall. Right now, Pittsburgh 68, Fort Scott, you're hanging around at 70 degrees, so a little warmer as you head further north and east. Now coming up here in a bit, well, we also have one more, my bad. We have temperatures hanging into the lower 60s as we head into tonight, and then we'll warm up into the upper 70s. Now coming up here in a bit, we're going to talk about the summer storm pattern as well as the warm and muggy week ahead. We'll also have some storm details as we head into next weekend. I'll have all that information coming up in a bit.
All right, thanks, Chloe. Galena Days Carnival, an annual community event, kicked off with great enthusiasm in Galena. KOAM's Shagun Bomadelli has more.
The carnival, which started on Friday and runs through the weekend, brought together locals and visitors for a weekend of fun-filled activities and attractions.
It's a celebration of the anniversary of the formation of Galena, and it's basically a chance for the community to come out, celebrate the community and be a part of the community. We have carnival rides, family things. They have music, actually live music every single night. And it's just a way for the community to come out and kick off summer.
Families enjoyed thrilling rides, delicious foods, and live entertainment throughout the day.
As you can tell, we have the carnival behind us, so that's probably attracting kids and families. And it's just a good, wholesome way to kick off the summer. To come out and be a family and just, be a part of your community.
Vendors like Lisa Crouch expressed satisfaction with the turnout and praised the community's support.
Actually, one of the vendors here, we're with State Farm, here locally in Galena with Grant Deardorff State Farm. And it's just for ways for the people to come out and get to familiarize themselves with the businesses that's out here and what community supports we have, like Galena Museum, the history of the museums here. Like the Masons are out here, they provide the food, Christian Motorcycle Association. So there's several vendors and several people here just being a part of the community.
In Galena, Shagun Bomadelli, KOAM.
Galena Mayor Ashley Grove says proceeds from the event help local entities such as youth sporting leagues and volunteer firefighters. Well, Old Mining Town Days today kicked off in Granby, Missouri. Families of all ages had the opportunity to get outside and celebrate the town. The event included performances from live bands, games for the kiddos, and a variety of food vendors.
Old Mining Town Days, and since the beginning of our town in 1850, we've had celebrations, but since 1984, it's been called Old Mining Town Days, and it's just to recognize the amazing history of this area. We had lead mining here, we had some tough characters back in the old days, and so we like to commemorate those tough characters and their wives once every year.
The fun continues tomorrow with a bounce house at Dick Smith Park. Well, Baxter Springs residents recently enjoyed a bustling citywide garage sale that attracted hundreds of eager shoppers. Taking place this weekend, the event featured an extensive selection of items ranging from furniture and clothing to electronics and collectibles. With participation from several other households, the sale not only allowed residents to declutter their homes, but also fostered a vibrant sense of community among neighbors. Wildcat Glades Education Cottage in Joplin today taught an insect collection and display program. The goal of the program was to show adults how to collect and display their own insects. Participants were given their own small insect display kit to practice new skills in collecting and perfect the art.
And entomology is the study of them, so a lot of people are interested in collecting and displaying them, both because they're beautiful and interesting. Insects are amazing creatures that are often dismissed, but they are awesome and they are important in the ecosystem.
The program began at 10 a.m. and ended at noon. The Miami Elk Lodge today hosted a Jerky Turkey Olympics event to benefit the Miami Animal Alliance. The event consisted of teams of 4 competing in low-skill games for prizes and, of course, bragging rights. Prizes went to the top 3 team finishers: best name, best outfit, team that sells the most spectator tickets, and the team that donated the most pet supplies.
All these supplies, I've never seen this huge of an amount of supplies that are coming in. The donations help to spay and neuter animals for people that need help with spay and neuter. It helps with injured animals. It helps with vet costs.
The event began at 1 p.m. and ran through 7 p.m. Well, coming up, we'll hear from some health experts about how to avoid summer asthma symptoms. As the weather gets warmer, many will head outdoors, but if you're one of the millions of Americans who live with asthma, this time of year can be hard on your lungs. Mandy Gaither has more on how summer weather can trigger severe asthma symptoms and how to help yourself avoid them.
The sun is out and the heat's rising. Mix in some humidity and it's the perfect recipe for thunderstorms. And research has shown this summer weather phenomenon may wreak havoc on those who suffer from asthma.
The moisture and the electricity of the thunderstorm break these pollens and other particulates into smaller pieces that then with the storm come back down and can be blown for long distances.
The smaller the particles, the easier they are to breathe in. So if you're at risk of severe asthma, this time of year may be hard on your lungs, says Dr. Laurie Manka with National Jewish Health.
Anybody who is at risk of worsening of asthma related to this, can really notice worsening of their symptoms and have increased risk of needing to go to the emergency room and even hospitalization following a phenomenon like this.
And it's not just storms. Manka says there are many triggers that can make asthma worse during the summer, including mold from heat and humidity, pollen from trees and grasses, and smoke from things like wildfires, which can travel long distances. She says to be aware of worsening symptoms, and since everyone is different, know your triggers. Have a plan with your doctor on what to do if symptoms worsen, and pay attention to the weather around you.
Where can I find local pollen counts? Where can I find the local air quality? And then taking that information and kind of adjusting your schedule appropriately.
When a respiratory virus is on the rise, the virus known as human metapneumovirus virus, or HMPV as it's called, has spiked so far this year, picking up this spring where surges of RSV, the flu, and COVID-19 left off. The symptoms include a cough, fever, sore throat, and lower lung infection. Younger patients who have the virus display different symptoms from mild illnesses such as colds to more serious complications such as needing oxygen. Chloe is next with a complete look at the forecast. And a little later, the Webb City Cardinals made it to the state semifinals for the first time since 2010. Brock Baldridge will have highlights from today's game in sports.
Well, it looks like we're on the home stretch in terms of showers and storms, and we'll see a little break before we get in tomorrow and into Monday. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. Those clouds are starting to fade away, so we can kind of see the sunset. Beautiful sunset once again. We're continuing to watch these isolated showers and storms start to dissipate actually rather quickly into the evening hours. We had a severe warning storm around the Independence area in southeastern Kansas, but that has since dissipated, and thankfully we're actually seeing a slight break. But the good part about this is that we've seen a lot of rainfall, which is good for that drought, but we've also seen those temperatures on the decline quite a bit. Southeastern Kansas was in the 60s this afternoon, and then we kind of warmed up a little bit as that sun started peeking out, so we're hanging around in the lower 70s across the board, except for as you head into Missouri, Nevada at 72, but Stockton still a little on the warmer side at 79 degrees. They didn't see as much rain, so they're still packing on that heat and continuing to do so into the evening hours. Now, thankfully, once again, we saw a lot of rainfall off to our folks out west, so this may not be the case as we head into tomorrow and see the new update on the drought, but Howard, Sedan, even up in Fredonia and El Dorado, you guys are seeing some pretty significant drought conditions in those drier atmospheres. So a lot, along with those drought conditions and the rainfall that we're continuing to see, they might balance out eventually, which is what we would like to see. So not as much of that drought. So we're not going to see very much in terms of rainfall this evening. We saw a lot of it this afternoon, but this is pretty much all we'll see this evening. We'll see some sprinkles here and there, but not much more in terms of accumulation up into this evening. Let's take a timeline of what we're going to see this week. So you'll wake up in the morning, lower 60s across the board. We'll warm up pretty nicely into the mid to upper 80s. We'll see a couple of stray showers, scattered showers, possibly some pop-up storms similar to today. And then we'll wake up once again in the morning on Monday. We'll have a similar pattern with this. We'll warm up once again, and you know the drill. We'll see some more isolated showers and storms across the board before we wake up Tuesday. Same thing. So we're going to have a similar pattern the next 3 days or so. Temperatures dipping down into the lower 60s tonight before we reach up into the upper 70s by 10 a.m. tomorrow. Taking a look at our entire 7-day forecast, we'll see temperatures warming up to the upper 80s across the board. We'll see a break from that rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before we see even more Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You'll see a 40% chance on both Friday and Saturday. But you know what? It's much needed rain for that drought. So we're really balancing out between those drier conditions and the rainfall that we're seeing.
So if you need to get your yard mowed and you're not going to get it done this weekend, maybe Wednesday or Thursday it'll be dry?
Perfect days to do so.
Not too hot.
Yes,
We
exactly.
can get it done. All right, thanks, Chloe. Well, coming up, the deal is finally done.
The president signs the debt ceiling bill avoiding a government shutdown. I'm Lucas Tomlinson at the White House. I'll have those details coming up.
President Biden signed the debt ceiling bill into law today. Congress approved the measure just days before the country faced risk of defaulting on its debt for the first time in history. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has the details from the White House.
No one got everything they wanted, but the American people got what they needed.
President Biden making his first primetime Oval Office address to the nation after weeks of tense negotiations on Capitol Hill, taking a victory lap following the bipartisan passage of a debt ceiling bill by Congress to avoid an economic meltdown.
I know bipartisanship is hard, and unity is hard, but we can never stop trying. Because in moments like this one, the ones we just faced, where the American economy and the world economy is at risk of collapsing, there's no other way.
Biden saying his compromise with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy shows that Republicans and Democrats can work together. The bill suspends the debt limit until January of 2025 and caps spending. Despite the bipartisan agreement, some progressive Democrats and conservative Republicans are expressing concerns.
I did not like the fact that it had a date certain it would end and not a dollar amount on our debt ceiling raise.
This is a bill that weakens us in the fight against climate change. It takes food away from hungry people. It makes students who are struggling on student loan debt locked in harder on making their payments.
Meanwhile, overseas, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin with a strong message to Beijing while speaking at a defense conference in Singapore.
We do not seek conflict or confrontation, but we will not flinch in the face of bullying or coercion.
China has been taking a more aggressive stance toward the United States recently as the Biden administration tries to keep lines of communication with Beijing open. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Tesla claims all of its Model 3s now qualify for the full federal tax credit. The company says on its website, all new Model 3s, including the rear-wheel drive version, can receive the full $7,500 U.S. tax credit. Last month, standard and long-range rear-wheel drive models saw its credits reduced by half. The IRS has yet to confirm if all versions of the vehicle are eligible for the full credit, as its website still shows the rear-wheel drives receiving just $3,750 in tax credit as of Thursday. Well, some Indiana firefighters go on a rescue mission to save some ducklings. We take a look up next. Firefighters in Carmel, Indiana helped with an adorable reunion after rescuing what appears to be 3 baby ducklings from a storm drain. The team then was able to successfully reunite them with their mother duck and siblings. The little babies waddled right up to their family and followed in line with the other dozen. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Coming up, the latest on research showing Missouri and Arkansas as some of the unhealthiest states in the country. And research shows both Missouri and Arkansas are among the most unhealthy states in the country. Joe Hickman has a look at the criteria and what it says about our society.
Using data from the Centers for Disease Control, the company MedicalAid.com analyzed harmful habits across the country and ranked the most unhealthy states in the U.S., with Louisiana being the worst, and Missouri and Arkansas ranked 3rd and 5th most unhealthy. The categories looked at were cigarette use, the prevalence of binge drinking, obesity, physical inactivity, and the STD rate. 2 of the most prevalent problems nationwide are obesity and smoking. The U.S. ranks number 1 in the world for its obesity rate, one of the main reasons America is ranked as the 4th unhealthiest country overall. Local measures to combat that early on include the WIC program that helps pregnant women, their infants, and their children get off on the right foot nutritionally.
WIC is an educational-based program to help make sure that there's great dietary habits in the home, as well as lots of education, and plug them into community resources as well.
Smoking contributes to 480,000 deaths in our country every year, and tobacco-related diseases cost more than $300 million annually in medical care and lost productivity. In the Springfield area, that's more than $222,000 annually. And once again, the local approach is going upstream to try and stop the habit before it starts.
How do we get more education in school regarding tobacco use, and especially with vaping? Having tobacco 21 to raise the legal age from 18 to 21 helps young people from ever beginning smoking.
While the federal law is 21, Missouri's minimum age to buy tobacco products is still 18. And studies have shown a 25% decrease in tobacco use among 15 to 17-year-olds if the minimum age is 21. And it's also been shown that it's never too late, no matter your age, to change bad habits, because it will improve your health.
There's still a lot that can be done, both from preventive, right, being more active, or having a healthier diet can certainly help with that, as well as healthcare. You can take a stepwise approach. It doesn't have to be all at once. There are small changes that yield big results.
Sometimes it's hard to stay active outdoors when you're faced with pop-up storms, and Chloe Herrera joins us with a look.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of pop-up storms this afternoon and evening, and it really dissipated rather quickly. So we're at now a pretty empty radar as of right now. So we're seeing a break from the rain. We've also cooled down quite a bit. Lower 70s, upper 60s across the board, 68 for Pittsburgh. Fort Scott at 71, Parsons, you're at 70 degrees right now. We'll dip down into the lower 60s heading into tonight. Our low for Joplin is 62 before we warm up rather quickly into the upper 70s by the time we get to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, coming up here in a bit, we're going to talk about this summer storm pattern that we have and we've been continuing to see. We'll also have a warm and muggy week, and I'll talk about the next storm system that we could see. I'll have all the details coming up here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Chloe. A Georgia father says he is closing his gun shop because of a spike in mass shootings and gun violence involving children. John Waldman, the owner of Georgia Ballistics Gun Shop, says too many children are getting their hands on guns and he doesn't feel right selling them anymore. He says he just can't sell with a clean conscience some of the firearms being ordered by clients through his store. He hopes closing the shop will be his contribution to doing something about the gun problem. After 6 weeks of planning and going door to door throughout Denver and Boulder County, a group of Denver mothers are ready to see their hard work come to fruition on Monday. The group, Here for the Kids, boasts 25,000 moms from near and far will descend on the Capitol to demand Governor Polis sign their executive order banning guns. Alexandra Lewis was there and has the latest.
I came in today from Columbus, Ohio. Nice. And me from San Francisco yesterday.
Hey, how are you? Other than really tired.
Hugs 6 weeks in the making.
We are surrounding each other by the most tender, toughest, strongest bonds of love that I have ever felt. And I'm only just meeting these people in person.
There's a lot of love in this room, but these women are about action.
The stakes are so high. So many kids we have to protect. And that's, I wake up in the morning and that's pretty much the first thought in my head is, we have to do this. Somebody has to do this.
Kay Coughlin and Karen Fleshman are two of the estimated hundreds of women who will arrive at DIA from across the country over the weekend to answer Here for the Kids call.
We are confident in getting tens of thousands.
While organizers are tight-lipped on specific numbers, they believe they'll meet their goal of 25,000 moms stretched across the Capitol lawn on June 5th, demanding Governor Polis ban guns in the state.
And I don't know what kind of disruption that will cause, but you know, we do a lot of things for our kids. So we're going to do this, like disruption or no disruption, like that's what's going to happen.
The sit-in is expected to grow throughout the morning, but remain quiet. No podium, no speakers, just still moments of shared mourning and reflection until Polis signs their executive order.
What does this look like? Should Governor Polis just say,
Shoo,
thank you for your efforts, but this isn't happening?
I don't think that's possible, actually, because the amount of people power behind this, the sheer number of people who are coming, I think it would overwhelm their ability to arrest us and get us out of there.
Unlikely warriors planted for 15 hours on Monday, and many say if Polis says no, they'll be back the day after, and the day after that.
We're at war in the United States against the Second Amendment.
And on June 5th, Denver's Capitol will be their battlefield.
This is going to be one for the history books. People will talk about this they will write about it. So like, you are blessed to have this in your city and to see this unfold in front of you. Please join us, like be there with us. It's going to take all of us.
Well, still ahead, summer has just begun, but some teachers are already dreading the school year. We'll take a look at why that is and what schools are doing to prepare.
Well, after all the showers and storms we saw this afternoon, a much needed break is what we're seeing this evening. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. That sunset is absolutely beautiful. The clouds are starting to fizzle out, so we're seeing that sky just a hair more. The radar pretty empty compared to what it was earlier this afternoon. Into the evening hours, we saw a lot of rainfall, and it really just lost all that energy and dissipated really quickly. That is in true summer storm fashion. So when we see those summer storms, they tend to pop up really quickly and then they dissipate really quickly, but they bring a lot of heavy rainfall with them, which cools us down pretty quickly. Right now we're hanging around upper 60s, lower 70s. Joplin at 70 degrees, Nevada 71. Stockton, you're at 73 degrees. Now Chanute, you're also hanging around at 68. So upper 60s, lower 70s. Across the board, so a lot cooler than what we've seen this afternoon and even into yesterday. We're also seeing some drier conditions, and thankfully with the amount of rain that we saw, especially for our folks out west, saw a lot of rainfall in this area. So as we update this map into tomorrow, we'll get a new update tomorrow. Hopefully this map will be a lot lighter than it is right now, because Howard, Sedan, even extending into Fredonia and Independence, you guys are in anywhere from an extreme to an exceptional range of drought. So that rainfall definitely soothed those extreme drought conditions. And we won't see much more in the way of rain this evening. Pretty much not any at all at this point as this map continuously updates into this evening. But as we head into tomorrow, we'll see even more scattered, isolated showers. You'll wake up in the morning, lower 60s, Mostly clear skies before we see those isolated showers begin to pop up into the picture. Here and there, we'll see the same pattern waking up into Monday morning. We'll see those temperatures in the lower 60s once again. We'll warm up pretty swiftly into the upper 80s and see even more scattered showers and a couple of isolated pop-up storms, kind of similar to what we saw today. So the severe threat is low, but still possible as we head into Monday, and we'll see a break from the storms after that. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, shaping out to be a beautiful day. Now, heading into the morning, we'll see temperatures in the lower 60s, 62 for your low for Joplin, 78 by the time we get to 10 a.m., so we'll warm up pretty quickly heading into the mid-morning to afternoon hours. Let's take a look at our entire 7-day forecast throughout the week and our extended forecast as well. Pretty consistently, we'll be in the 80s before we see 76, not this Monday, but next Monday. So, one thing to keep in mind, the scattered showers that we'll see the next couple of days. We'll see a break, and then we'll see some more throughout the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday.
We definitely have a lot of chances for rain this week. Doesn't mean we'll always get it, but a lot of chances.
We sure do, yes.
All right, thanks, Chloe.
Of course.
Well, coming up in sports, plenty of college and professional baseball games around the area, plus the Webb City Cardinals look to finish in third at the Class 5 Missouri State Baseball Tournament. We're going to break it all down next in sports.
The Webb City Cardinals made it to the state semifinals for the first time since 2010. Friday, Webb City lost to St. Francis Borgia, but today the Cardinals can still finish their season on a high note and compete for third place in state. So here we go in Ozark, Missouri at Sky Bacon Stadium. It's the Class 5 third place game. Webb City going up against Fort Zumwalt South. We pick things up in the fourth. Fort Zumwalt South up 1-0. Sean Hunt throws out the runner at second. Sam Weller kept the tag on him, and he gets the out at second. So fast forward to the top of the seventh, 2-0 Fort Zumwalt South. No offense all day for Webb City, but right there, William Hayes with 2 outs lines this one up the middle. Drew Vonderhaar scores. Runner at third is safe. That's important. Otherwise, the game would have been over. But Webb City gets on the board down 2-1. Next batter, Gage Chapman puts this in play. Shortstop bobbled the ball. Throw to first is safe. Andrew Elwell is safe. All of a sudden, we're tied up 2-2. And then we go into extra innings. 11th inning now. Bases loaded. Sean Hunt flies out to left field. Gage Chapman tags up, and here he comes, turning on the Jets. Play at the plate is not in time. Cardinals take a 3-2 lead. Fort Zumwalt South showing some fight. Bottom of the 11th, bases loaded. Connor Hinkie keeps it fair. 1 run scores the tie. The second run scores after the umpire calls interference, and that's how the ball game ends. Fort Zumwalt South walks it off. They beat Webb City 4-3. However, the Cardinals finish in 4th place in state. And the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals are both in action this afternoon. The Royals are home against the Rockies. The Cardinals hit the road in Pittsburgh. Cardinals at Pirates in Pittsburgh, PA, not KS. Top of the second, no score. Wilson Contreras clear the deck, cannonball coming. Cards go up 1-0 after the solo bomb. Bottom of the 5th now, same score, Brian Hayes. He has the height, but does he have the distance? You bet, barely. Cardinals tied the game up 1-1. Top of the 8th now, St. Louis down 4-1. Nolan Gorman, my goodness, Allegheny River, look out. 2-run homer. Cardinals go down 4-3. So we head to the 9th inning now. Last chance for St. Louis. Brennan Donovan doesn't quite have the distance on that one. That'll do it. Pirates defeat the Cardinals 4-3. Pittsburgh wins the series. In Kansas City, Royals hosting the Rockies. Top of the 1st, Colorado's Ryan McMahon has been on an absolute tear of late. RBI single there puts the Rockies up 1-0. Colorado scores 5 in the 1st inning. So bottom of the 1st now. Royals look to come back. Nick Prado unloads on that one. Solo home run. That's headed to Souvenir City. Royals down 5-1. So now, Colorado's Charlie Blackmon, Chuck Nasty lines this to the right side. The Rockies go up 6-2. Rockies go on to beat Kansas City by a final score of 6-4. Well, it's opening week, I should say, in the college regionals baseball in Division I. Plenty of teams around the area look to start the postseason and finish it in Omaha. Starting off with the Oklahoma Sooners, they're in Charlottesville, in Virginia, on the brink of elimination. OU takes care of business. The Sooners beat the Army Black Knights 10-1. They will play the loser of the East Carolina and Virginia game. Over to the Stillwater Regional now, a shocker. Elimination game for Oklahoma State. They lose to Dallas Baptist 18-4. That loss, Oklahoma State's season has come to an end. Cowboys are the first regional host to be eliminated from the postseason contention. That is the epitome of brutality right there. So over to the SEC now. Arkansas hosts TCU in the Fayetteville Regional. The Hogs are only 2 more wins away from advancing to Super Regionals. That game has been postponed tonight due to all the rain in the Fayetteville area. So the Hogs and the Frogs will pick things up tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central. And finally, Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. Nothing slowing down. The Sooners softball team dominating performance once again. OU wins it over Tennessee 9-0 in 5 innings. And you know, it was the end of Webb City's baseball season, but that's the last high school coverage we'll have until August. So it's been a great year.
Yeah, and he did an excellent job with those highlights too. Those were fun to watch and a great game. They can't be upset about one inning.
I mean, fourth place, nothing to nothing to gripe about.
In state, that's awesome. All right, we'll be right back. You might be surprised to hear many teachers say gun violence is not their biggest worry when they're in the classroom. They say bullying is at the top of the list. Fox News national correspondent Griff Jenkins has more from Washington.
A shocking new survey shows bullies, not guns, top teachers' concerns in the classroom. This after approximately 300 shooting incidents at K-12 schools in 2022. But the RAND Corporation says, quote, despite the growth in gun violence, bullying rather than active shooters was teachers' most common concern.
For a long time, we've known that bullying is a problem in schools, but we haven't had very good data about it. So this is really the first nationally representative survey of teachers asking them about bullying that we have seen.
Bullying leads at nearly 50%. Fights are second, 12%. Then it's drugs, 11%, self-harm, 10%, and active shooters, 7th on the list, with only 5%. The executive director of the Association of American Educators agrees with the findings.
Because what they're seeing is everyday bullying that can lead to self-harm and fights and other disruptions to the learning environment. That is a more common problem that schools are facing where teachers want additional support.
The survey also found division on whether teachers should be armed. 54% believe it would make schools less safe, while only 20% say it would make them safer. 26% believe it would not have any discernible impact. All told, RAND estimates that if given the option, approximately 550,000 of the country's 3 million K-12 teachers would choose to carry a firearm at school. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
Up next, how a St. Louis family gets the surprise of a lifetime thanks to a Miami Dolphins NFL player. A North St. Louis teenager who walked miles to his 8th grade graduation now has 2 new ways to get around, all thanks to a Miami Dolphins player. Melanie Johnson reports.
It has donated you your own electric bike, Series E1.
It was a surprise this North St. Louis family never saw coming.
That's my baby.
A $5,000 electric bike for 14-year-old Xavier Jones, who walked 2 hours to get to his 8th grade graduation. An even bigger gift for his entire family would come next.
Didn't know the car was going to come. Yeah, I was just excited. I was excited.
A $40,000 minivan given to them from Bommarito Automotive Group.
Granddad is disabled, don't have any means of transportation, so the whole family is really walking to get any and everywhere.
It was Cahokia Heights native and Miami Dolphins NFL player Teron Armstead's team who put it all together during his celebrity basketball game at his alma mater. His team reaching out to News 4 after watching Xavier's 6-mile journey to get his diploma.
Follow Xavier, example. You know, he's a leader, whether he wanted to be or not, he is. His story is, like I say, it's inspiring, it's motivating So that's what leaders do.
A shock to the St. Louis teen's grandfather, whose car went out just before his grandson's special day.
I don't know what to say. I'm so thankful and so grateful.
Taking care of Xavier, who has sickle cell anemia, and his 6 siblings after their mother passed away a few years ago. This came right on time.
To be some form of hope and inspiration to the community. So we hear a story like Xavier, it's only right.
This means a whole lot.
He's right here. What do you want to say to him?
Thank you, dude.
Goodness, how precious. I know, that's so sweet. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. All right, final check of weather.
Yeah, so the next couple of days, we're still going to see the same similar summer-like pattern that we saw today. We also saw it yesterday. So Sunday and Monday, we'll see a chance for isolated showers and storms. We'll see a break before we see another chance Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday.
All right, I like that. That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with some gosh darn cute video of a porcupine munching on some corn at a Cincinnati zoo. So cute. Yes! My son would love you. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night.